Hi, everybody. It's Christy Gessler, the dependent agent, coming to you today from a modified office setting here and wanting to talk a little bit about this COVID-19 pandemic that we're facing. It is a very unsettling time for everybody, and I think it's very important in this episode that we talk about some of the messages that we are hearing, not only from each other, but from the media and from other sources that I think is, I know personally, is really, really weighing heavy on my heart and is very concerning to me, not only for my own sobriety, but for a lot of other people's sobriety right now. So this episode's going to be a little bit sobering, I think, in a way where I think we really need to really think about the messages that we are allowing into our mind space and what feedback and inputs we are allowing in there. Because what I heard this morning was really fairly jarring to me, but also let me know that there's a lot of, I think, dangerous behavior that's being legitimized and somewhat being legitimized because of the pandemic. So this morning, I had a very busy schedule for myself for once. We all know in pandemic life, is that okay to say, that your schedules are completely screwed up. I'm not sure when I'm supposed to be asleep anymore. I'm not really sure when I'm supposed to be awake. My sleep schedule is so beyond screwed up right now. Keeping any sort of focus, trying to maintain a sense of normalcy or a sense of schedule and routine is extraordinarily difficult. I know for me personally, that sense of routine is huge. Being able to have decompression time between home and the office. There's not a lot of decompression time between the guest bedroom and the living room. There's just not a lot of space in between to decompress and to try to maintain a work world and a life outside of work. Right now, with shelter in place, everything has become one big jumbled mess. And I finally today had a day where I could go to the office and safely, I'm following all proper protocols along the way, to teach a class via Zoom to a bunch of agents around the area on listings in this age. And take care of some other things and take care of my taxes and some other work I needed to do. And on the way to the office, I'm merely just listening to the radio, kind of having that time between home and work, which for me is just so precious to listen to podcasts or music or audible books or whatever. I had the radio on, just simply listening to some country music and enjoying a song by Little Big Town called Day Drinking. One of my personal favorites. I do love Little Big Town. Fantastic. Great song, kind of just toe tapping along, not thinking about it too much. And then on this Sirius XM station, the DJ got on and really started to go into a pretty lively discussion about day drinking. And that, shoot, if you're lucky enough to still have liquor in your cabinet, you're probably hitting it pretty hard. If there's beer in your fridge, I bet there's not too many left. Thank God liquor stores were deemed essential. They were the words out of his mouth. And then they went on to play an Eric Church song also about drinking. Again, I love Eric Church. But it was the message that at 8:51 in the morning, Central Standard Time, I'm driving to the office, and that's the message I'm hearing, that day drinking is okay. Okay? So I'm hearing a message if I'm an addict, and I am, and if I'm listening, I'm hearing a lot of validation from somebody who, in my mind, has their shit together. You know, hey, he's on the radio. He's a notable professional. He's a funny guy. I listen to him all the time. Sometimes these TV and radio personalities, almost you feel like you know them. Who doesn't feel like you don't know Savannah Guthrie by this point? And Hoda Kotb, when she broke down and cried on TV, I was crying right with her. I mean, if y'all saw that on the Today Show, it was powerful. She broke down. She was talking to Drew Brees about his charitable work in this pandemic early on in New Orleans, and she flat lost it right on camera, live, just lost it. And everybody just said, Hoda, we got you. We understand you. But you see how you start to feel like some of these TV and radio and podcast celebrities, if you will, or voices, you trust them. and you believe what they say as they're offering you good advice, when actually they're only supposed to be telling you what song is coming up next and reporting the news. So here I drive to work hearing a message that day drinking is okay. And I will tell you, my first thought is, without question, as I'm coming in from Little Liberty Hill, Texas, into Austin to come to the office, if I'd have been back where I was before November 8th of 2017, I would have immediately pulled through a convenience store, into a drugstore, into a convenience store, into a Target, into a grocery store. You name the place, I would have bought probably a handful of those little boxes of wine and headed out the door happy as a clam going, day drinking was just validated. I heard it on the radio. That would have been my addicted mind talking to me saying, you just got the validation that you wanted because you know what you're doing is wrong and destroying you, and you know you don't feel good, and you know you're tired of hangovers, but how cool is that? And that little Big Town song sure charged you right up and made you feel like it's a good day to do nothing other than drink. Well, for some people that may work out okay. For somebody like me, that no longer works out okay. But there were plenty of days where I did that. Unfortunately, I did that not on a one-off kind of thing, as a special occasion. I went and did it almost every single day. Day drinking is not fun. Day drinking is not a party. Day drinking is dangerous. Day drinking is destructive. Day drinking is a precursor to a lot of other ways you're going to justify a lot of bad behavior. I'm not here to judge you. I'm not here to judge anybody doing their jobs. I'm not here to judge anybody on the radio or on TV or anybody else for that matter. But I am here to call out a little BS on some of the ways that we, in this pandemic, which is, I know, one of the more stressful situations we have all ever experienced. I remember feeling anger after 9/11, but I don't remember feeling the fear that I fear now. I fear for everybody. I fear a little less for myself and I worry more about others, but I still worry about myself. My claustrophobic mind gets a little crazy when I think about the fact that I might not be able to breathe because of a virus. And it pains me, all the news that's on, to hear about lack of ventilators and lack of masks and, first responders without PPE. And I was a sheriff's deputy for 7 years for Travis County back in the 90s. And I was an EMT with Austin EMS at that same time. I know the value of PPEs, and my God, we should have them, but we don't for whatever reason. And it's super stressful. So you go and listen to a bunch of news like that all the time. And you hear about people losing their jobs. And, this just last week, millions applied for unemployment in 1 week. And then they tell you day drinking is okay. And they name liquor stores as essential. Yet a realtor can sit there and question whether or not they're essential. They're providing a home for people to be quarantined in. Maybe there's a lot of people under quarantine right now that are going to need to move when this is all over because they don't like their house, or they want something different, or their living arrangements are changing. Maybe there's a baby on the way in 9 months, or maybe there's a divorce pending pretty soon. We have a lot of opportunities to do great business. But beyond that, I think the message of day drinking right now, in incredibly stressful times, we're going to see, I'm no expert. I've told you that from day one. This is just Christy Gessler, the dependent agent, trying to talk about myself and my story and my anxieties so that we can have a light shine on this issue, and maybe me being so open helps you and we can keep the conversation going. But guys, day drinking is not, it shouldn't be your new daily routine. How many of you listening or watching this right now, it's become that way? You know those jokes that are out there on social media, and it says, your leprechaun name is your first and last name, and then this word for your birth month or whatever it is. You know what I'm talking about, those little funny little things that you can play. And I saw one on Facebook last night, posted by a good friend of mine in Ohio, and it said, your alcoholic name is just your first name and your last name, period. And I kind of giggled for a second. I thought, now that's pretty funny, considering like if you're trying to find your elf name, okay, my first name is Christy, and maybe that C means my first name is, I don't know, jingle bell, whatever, kind of thing. Okay. Well, this is saying your alcoholic name is now just your first and last name, because guess what? You may be becoming one. If you're not already, and you're really embracing day drinking, and you're stressed and you're nervous and you have anxiety and depression and you're self-medicating, if you're not an addict, you're on your way. And I want nothing more than for somebody to go, pump the brakes. This is not it. This cannot be my new norm. I want you to reach out to somebody that you can talk to. I want you to reach out on a forum that is a healthy one, one that gives you great advice and support from people that are like-minded. I know when I've been teaching some Zoom classes and when I've seen other Zoom interactions, don't you wonder what's inside that thermos or what's inside that Yeti? Or people are having happy hours on Zoom. Are they also working through the happy hour on Zoom? I tell you what, when I was in full-on drinking mode, I'd have been drinking a nice glass of wine through that entire class. And what's funny is there's people even doing it that I've seen on some screenshots on social media. And there's apparently in a class, broker responsibility, and, maybe they're, joking about drinking during class. Don't do that. If anything else, look at yourself in the mirror and go, this is not appropriate. It's not professional. It's not safe. It's not healthy. So it may be cute, may seem funny, may seem like a really cute idea to, just day drink away. But in the end of the day, I think it's dangerous. I know for me, it would be deadly. It is something that self-medicating is always risky. And I think right now in the days of a pandemic, and there's going to be a lot more of these days ahead, it's not going to get any better for a while. Come up with other ways to not only occupy your time, but occupy your mindset. I dove into yoga so emphatically when I was first out of rehab. I was in a yoga studio every day. Start doing yoga on demand. Start doing some sort of meditation or other activity that can settle your mind better than a drink. A drink will only temporarily settle your mind. In the end, it'll destroy your body. You're poisoning yourself. And you could really do some long-term damage, not only to you, but others. So even though we're all joking about staying home and everything, and about day drinking, think about it. So I told you it was going to kind of be a dark, sad episode, wearing black, but stay positive. If one thing I will say, just to kind of land the plane, but land it on a good note. I had a great team meeting this week, and I've had other great interactions with agents. And I am one that is so incredibly excited about what this real estate recovery is going to look like, what our economy is going to do nationally after this is over. One thing I know after 9/11, our patriotism was at an all-time high. I think we're going to beat that level of patriotism this time. We're going to come at each other with love and caring and understanding and try to protect each other and clean up this nation. That's a bonus. But while we're doing all of that and settling in and mourning losses and trying to protect each other and praying for first responders and medical workers, don't day drink the day away. Try to come up with some other positive, healthy ways for you to enjoy this new world of quarantine. Just maybe not with a drink in your hand every minute of every day. So hang tough. It's going to be okay. This too shall pass. We all have heard that. Try to be smart. Do some reflecting right now and take this quarantine opportunity as a time to truly look introspectively on yourself and think about the choices you're making. As a mom of 2 boys, I've got one entering the Marines and I've got another one working out in Portland, Oregon. Thankfully, they're both healthy and safe. But I told them the first time is a choice, the second time is a mistake. So there's that. And I also said, you are defined by the people you surround yourself with. So think about those 2 things and stay positive, stay healthy, wash your hands, don't touch your face, take all those precautions. I want to see you on the other side. And I want to see everybody when we can all be back together and hug each other's necks, like as realtors, we are missing so badly. When we do that, though, I want it to be because you look great, you're healthy, and you're sober. So hang in there. We got this. So don't forget to interact with the community on The Dependent Agent on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. I'm out there. I want to connect with you. In upcoming episodes, we're going to have some live guests and some other neat additions to the production. So I'm excited about that. And it's time for some positivity and to keep moving forward. So take care and stay sober.